Well, September is here and it's time to get hyped for the upcoming release of Mario Maker. This is a game that I have been waiting for a long time. Ever since people on the internet have been making hacks and putting out programs that allow you to mod the sprites and build your own levels, I've been waiting to see what would happen if Nintendo did this themselves. For a while I was worried that Nintendo wouldn't include nearly enough in this kind of game, and that they wouldn't be as awesome or as complex as some of the other programs on the internet for creating your own Mario levels. But then the reviews came out and the previews came out, and it looks like this is going to be a game that's going to let you do quite a lot. In some ways surpassing the programs that let you mod your own Mario levels. In other ways, not quite being as complex as what a professional, highly experienced hacker is capable of doing to the game. But for people who don't have hacker skills, this is going to be a lot better experience than some, though not as great as others, making it the perfect tool for those who have never had this experience and don't have any skills in it. And of course, as is the way with Mario hacks, you're going to see some nearly impossible stuff that's extremely grueling and difficult to get through, as well as a number of levels that are way too easy and simplified, or even ones that are broken and clearly don't work. But the program will have a number of tools that haven't been available to modders and hackers before, and will probably help them polish the thing up and make things at least somewhat playable. But what I'm here to talk about today are some of the ideas that I would be itching to try out in Mario Maker to see if I can get it to work. The first idea that I'm excited to do, and I can't wait until I unlock everything in the game and have every available piece, would be to have a giant war sequence. A series of levels that all revolve around the idea of Bowser and his other minions being at war with each other, filling the levels with bullets and bombs and cannonballs and other exploding objects, and have airships and tanks all pointing at each other, firing upon each other, and have Mario go through a long series of levels that all have airship and tank themes to them, and something that's very explosion heavy. And then when you get into the final boss area, you have two bosses to deal with at the same time, and you get to watch one boss take the other out, and then you get to take down the surviving boss. Other idea that I'm excited to take on is the concept of replicating other video game levels with the tools available in Mario's world. And I'm sure that by now tons of fans will have already thought of this, but I'm going to take my own take on it, providing that some of these ideas aren't too overdone or too done better than what I could have done. And I'm going to be tackling concepts like Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, Frogger, Contra, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mega Man, Metroid, all of the classics, all redone with Mario parts. It should definitely be interesting to see what I can do with that concept. Other concepts that I'm itching to try would be something Star Wars related, that have a very sci-fi look to it, and you'd run through a big sci-fi area, attack some kind of target which would trigger an explosion that would destroy the level that you're in, and you'd have to exit the level before it's completely destroyed. Another idea I'd like to do is something very fitly jungle related, with lots of pipe mazes and plant life and all kinds of bogs and insects and stuff like that. Another idea I'd like to do is a graveyard sequence, something that has a lot of ghost characters and skeletons and tombstones and stuff. I'd also like to do something very urban related, where you have a lot of skyscrapers and houses and large towers and cars and manhole covers and sewage lines and lots of other modern world devices in the mix. Another idea, something very theme park related, with Ferris wheels and roller coasters and all kinds of rides that are in constant motion and would be a continuous obstacle to the characters. Another idea I'd like to play around with is the idea of constructing a maze out of invisible blocks. Something where you have to take the maze in a certain order, where you have to make some invisible blocks appear just so that you can have a platform to walk on. But other areas you don't want to trigger the invisible block because it'll make going in certain directions impossible. I love the idea of being able to lead Koopas or Spiniades or something else so that it ends up reaching a certain end of the maze and can become beneficial to you in some way. I also want to do something that's very spike related, something where there are spikes as an obstacle and Mario has to find a way to cross them by spin jumping or using a Yoshi or something else that protects him from all of the spikes, and he has to keep that protection up throughout the entire level. And it would also include the ability to jump on top of a Thwomp's head and wait for the Thwomp to rise up so that it takes Mario to a new section of the maze. I'm not saying these ideas are going to be original, I'm sure they won't, but while I might play some user-created content just to get ideas, or to see if it unlocks anything maybe, or gives me an achievement or something, I probably won't be looking at too many user-created levels because I want my ideas to be my own and not be too heavily influenced by all of the Mario hackers. Although there are some things which I have seen other hackers do in the past that I will be also trying to attempt, like making long areas where you jump off of creatures and you can just keep jumping off of their backs and landing from creature to creature, or ones where you can just hold right and A and go through the entire level based on a Goldberg type of design, where all actions have some kind of interaction to it. But I'm going to try not to clutter up the level with a lot of overdone, confusing things to look at. I want all of the levels to ultimately look artistic enough that you get a feeling for this being a real thing. And I'm going to try and look at some of the pieces and see if there's new, unique ways to use them. Maybe create a giant skeleton creature that you go inside of its body. There's a lot of ideas I've played around with in other online modding programs that aren't very official, where I'll try to take some of those same ideas and work with them. I love the idea, for example, of trying to see if I can get something to ride a Latitude Cloud that drops weapons other than Spiniades. I also like the idea of trying to recreate a Zelda level or some other Nintendo franchise, as I mentioned earlier. I heard it might be possible to create levels that have words and numbers typed into them. Therefore, it might be possible to invent some kind of quiz-related level where you have questions and answers, and if you take the wrong answer, you meet some kind of unfortunate peril, and if you take the right answer, you get to progress safely. You also go for trying to replicate some kind of Final Fantasy related dungeon. And I also like the idea of trying to build an entire dungeon where everything is upside down, where the floor is on the ceiling and the ceiling is on the floor, and things move in the opposite direction of what they would normally move in. Ultimately, I'm going to have to see what the game offers me. These are just some starter ideas that I've been kicking around for a few years based on what was capable in other Mario mods and Mario hacks. When the game finally does come out, I hope you guys all look up some of my work and see if you enjoy it. If anybody needs help finding my levels once the game comes out and once I make uploads, just contact me with some kind of message and I'll give you some information on how to find it. Anyhow, that's all the ideas I have to kick around for right now, but I'd love to hear in the comments section what you would like to bring to the creative table when you get your hands on Mario Maker. And of course, you'll definitely see some levels that are inspired by My Little Pony and some of my other favorite TV shows. Anyhow, thank you for watching and good night.